The first one I'm sure you've already started, which is the questionnaire. We'll need to collect those questionnaires from you before you leave today. The other three activities, activity 2 will be looking at where you used to travel on the bus routes and where you travel now. So there's a person walking around giving everybody green dots and red dots, and when we get to start that activity, we'll be asking everybody to come up to the pieces of paper on the wall behind me, and you will put a green dot where you can get to now, that's something that you travel to, and a red dot on the thing that you used to travel to but you can't anymore because the bus service is gone. So that's the second activity. The third activity, we'll be looking at the maps that are on your tables, and we'll have someone nominated on each table to go around so everybody can speak in turn and talk about what issue you're here to talk about today that's related to these bus routes. And the fourth activity, we want each table to come up with some ideas on what you think should be the next step, what Luba and myself should be doing when we go away after this forum today so that we can help you.
Hi, my name's Taylor Muir, and here I am today at the Hub in Laverton. As you saw before, Colleen and Luba have organised a gathering for the concerns of public transport.
My name's Councillor Colleen Gates. I'm here with my fellow ward councillor from Hobsons Bay City Council. We're running a bus forum for the residents of the Wetlands Ward down here, Seabrook, Altona Meadows and Laverton residents. We're hoping that out of today's forum we will get sufficient feedback from the local community on the issues that we have with the bus connectivity now that the bus route changes have been changed with the opening of Williams Landing Station. Public Transport Victoria has introduced up to 14 new services within the wider area. However, the reduction in services to our ward has been absolutely significant, and we have issues now where residents can't take a bus to their local doctor, their local pharmacy or their local supermarket, and that's very concerning. As you can see, we have a demographic of elderly people that are represented here today, and taking away more of their freedom is very concerning.
Thank you. I'm Councillor Luba Grigorovithch from Hobsons Bay City Council, and I have to concur with Councillor Gates. What has happened here is absolutely appalling, and that's why we've made this forum happen today. We want to hear from the residents, we want to know what their major issues are, and we want to relay this feedback to the state government and also to Public Transport Victoria. The changes are not good enough, and we need to change it back and revert it back so that people don't have to get 3 modes of transport to get to a shopping centre or a local facility.
Well, there you go, guys. Colleen and Luba are working very closely with the community, and hopefully all their problems will be solved today. Taylor Muir, signing off.
And we'll do what they do and see how long they last for. Take their cars away and make them use the public transport system like we have to. What will happen if they close? We're always hearing they're going to close Aircraft Station.
But exactly.
We're going to really be...
I think on that we can really only take it one step at a time. If they were going to close Aircraft Station, I bet you 10 to 1 there would be a huge community protest. Colleen and I would definitely be leading it up with our fellow colleagues in Wyndham, and we'd make sure that that didn't happen, and we'd get all of you involved in it. For my day job, I'm a councillor, but I also work for the Rail, Tram and Bus Union, and I haven't heard that there's any significant changes to be happening there. So
you up over this, do we?
No, the union was against it, trust me. Look, I don't believe that will be happening. I know that they did talk about patronage growth, but one of the key platforms, I believe, is to make the entire network Zone 1.
Is there any explanation for why these alterations were done for each individual bus route? Because some have vague reasonings why, but others just don't make any sense at all.
Unfortunately, Luba and myself weren't aware of the bus forums that were held by Public Transport Victoria last year. I'm not aware of anybody who actually knew of the bus forums taking place last year, so I'd be interested to know who attended.
It'd be interesting to know where they were held.
Presumably they've designed the bus network that you have today based on feedback received at those forums.
Can I say, to supplement what Colleen was saying, I'm very sceptical as to why these bus changes came in. You would have all seen a redistribution last week. There's a new seat developed out here. My suggestion, or I suppose, the reason I think it was done is not because the community wanted it. I think it was more of a political move. That's the honest truth. That's how I feel. Is that accurate? I don't know for a matter of fact, but that's why I think it might have happened. So I think moving forward with the state election next year, we need to ensure that whoever's running, we need to say, will you make a commitment that if you get in, you will help us change this back and you'll lobby PTV to make it happen.
And part of that commitment is that previously state government has committed to keeping Aircraft Station open, and we should be demanding that that commitment remains in place, as well as improving the bus network.
I just wanted to say that to change the zone is a fantastic idea, but we also have to be aware that when you change the zone, you are now going to get 10 times more people getting on the trains before they get up to Laverton station. And as it is at the moment, even now with a lot of people going to Laverton to get on, you can't get onto the peak period trains at 8:30, for instance, to get into town. So we're going to have to get more trains coming through to be able to fit people up, because they'll be chockers before they even get to aircraft.
Well, I'm here today. I came here because it's across the border. You know, our municipal border is very close by. It runs through the aircraft railway station, so it certainly impacts on residents and ratepayers in the city of Hobsons Bay and the city of Wyndham.
That's right.
Very much across the border issues.
Get there by bus?
Sorry? So, I mean, we're having similar comments from people that want to come from west to east.
Yes.
You want to come. You want to come from east to, you know.
Yeah.
So they have the same issues. But so next Wednesday, the 17th, at the Wyndham Civic Centre, you'd be most welcome.
But like the man said, there's no transport there.
Myself, there's a couple of people here, Diana Rice and Anne-Marie Kelly, have been very active in the Altona Loop group, which has been about the reduction in train timetables coming through the Loop group. And I'm hearing at this table, as well as I'm sure at other tables, that there's a big intersection between buses and trains. So we're talking about bus routes, but with the change in bus routes, there's a greater reliance on train services. And while the system, the network is not running as well as we'd like through the Altona Loop, there's many areas where they're working. We've got to keep the pressure on from a number of angles, and Laverton Station is key to that as well. So just from my point of view, and I'm sure Diana's and Anne-Marie's, from an Altona Loop perspective, it's really interesting to get this feedback. And one of the other aspects, I suppose, of council is having an integrated transport plan, which looks at how all of the transport, the trains, the buses, even our bicycle routes and parking and things like that, they all work together to get us where we need to go. So that's another aspect to it as well. So from my point of view, it's really important to see those intersections. So we'll keep it going on all fronts. So thank you.
Thanks, Sandra.
Come on, Jean.
We've got a question here and then one over there.
Jean, go get up. Jean,
So
get up.
even before the changes that have been made there, it was very difficult to get from the Bladen Street area to our local shops. You know, so without changing, and they changed the train station and made it more difficult to get across. And it's all the connections with timings as well that I think is really important. So it's not just about bringing the buses back, but it's also about improving the connections between the buses and the trains, and you know, and the buses themselves.
Look, you're not alone in your thoughts there. I know that's a reoccurring theme. I think this middle table and the one over there says that the connection is a big issue. Again, how do we fix that? Well, all we can really do is lobby. So we'll make sure that we do emphasise that in the report that we put forward.
Yeah.
If further down the line we don't appear to be getting anywhere, would council be willing to facilitate a meeting between the community and people from the government, from state government?
The first answer is yes. Colleen and I haven't had a huge in-depth conversation because we didn't know how today would go, but I dare say we're going to do a lot of work after this. I'm kind of thinking, because we've had such a good response, you know, from this, and it wasn't really very well advertised at all. I'd like to think that once we've done the report, we might get everyone back together and actually maybe get the minister, get a few heads of Public Transport Victoria out and ask them, you know, like give them the report and have maybe 2 or 3 main topics of this is what we need fixed, what can you do?
Thank you.
And we, as we said earlier, we do appreciate your time coming this morning. We hope that you do walk away and feel like it's been worthwhile. We came up with the content ourselves and the format, so any feedback is welcome, and in line with what Luba has just said, this table has already provided feedback that it would have been good to have a spokesperson here from Public Transport Victoria, and so that's something that we could consider down the track. But any other feedback after the forum is certainly welcome on how we could do this better for you. But we hope that you feel that our attempt today has been worthwhile.
The results from today's bus forum are going to be collated by Luba and myself. We're hoping to prepare a report that we can then publish for the benefit of the local community and also for submission to Public Transport Victoria and the Department of Transport. Hopefully you should see something in your local newspaper in the next few weeks.